friends, it's the Stitches. Since I don't make haul content anymore, and I also just don't buy clothing as often as I used to, it has been ages since I did a thrift vlog. But I have really been wanting to make more knit and crochet projects in the new year, and new yarn in natural fibers tends to be very expensive, so I decided to thrift some yarn instead. My local thrift store actually does sell skeins of donated yarn, but most of the time it's one single skein, often not even a complete skein, in, let's call them ideal colors, to be kind. But that's not the only way to acquire yarn. I'm sure most of you have probably already seen plenty of short-form content of people going to thrift stores and buying sweaters to take apart for yarn. Deconstructing thrift store sweaters to repurpose the yarn is something that knitters and crocheters have been doing for decades, so we're not exactly reinventing the wheel here. But I was curious about what I personally could find at my local thrift store. There has been a lot of discourse in various online circles that claim that by buying clothing in thrift stores, if you're not absolutely destitute, then you're taking away clothing from the poor, which is honestly kind of... Their hearts are in the right place for sure, but it is literally impossible to purchase clothing at the same rate that thrift stores receive it. There is so much textile waste in the world, and buying a few snagged and frumpy sweaters from the thrift store in order to take them apart and reuse the yarn is absolutely not taking clothing away from anyone. The vast majority of this clothing would wind up in landfill otherwise. But in the spirit of leaving the good stuff behind for others, I did come into this with a few rules. First of all, no vintage. I'm only buying newer fast fashion that likely would have fallen apart on its own anyway. And no designer. I'm only buying items that have little to no resale value. Trust me when I say not even the Depop girlies would have been going after the items that I purchased. And obviously my own preference here is natural fibers, so nothing that's like 100% acrylic. It has to be at least majority natural fiber, preferably 100%, but I'll take what I can get. And I do have a budget. Preferably, I did want to spend less than $25 because I got a $25 Visa gift card for Christmas from my brother, so everyone say thank you to my brother. I also chose now to do this because I had several 20% off coupons that I had received from donating various junk around my house over the past year, and they all expired on December 31st. And I wanted to be able to use at least one of them. So there was some wiggle room in my budget, but not a whole lot. When I actually got to the thrift store, at least the first 15 sweaters that I looked at were 100% acrylic, which was kind of a massive bummer. Despite how disheartening my first 10 minutes of looking in this thrift store were, I did eventually find this very light, neutral, almost purpley gray sweater. It was originally from one of the Target brands, and it already had a few snags and was 100% cotton, so this was literally exactly what I was looking for. It checked all of the boxes, plus it was only $5. Then I saw this lovely brick red sweater, and honestly, I loved this color so much, but then I saw that it was 100% acrylic. And I knew it would just make me sweaty and uncomfortable, so I left it behind. I very nearly bought this black, almost filet crochet number. It was 100% cotton, but the black yarn was really faded, so I would have had to have bought black dye on top of the $9 price tag. So even though it was kind of ugly and begging to be taken apart, I left it behind. Next, I found another lovely brick red item. This time a cardigan that honestly had kind of an awkward drape to it. It was also sort of an amalgamation of fibers, but it had a nice feel to it, and I'll probably hand wash it anyway. Plus, it wasn't very expensive, so I got it. This next item kind of broke my heart a little bit, because I loved the rust orange, and it was 100% natural fibers. Plus, there was just a lot of yarn to work with here. But it was just a little bit too much money with a price tag of $13, so I left it behind. And then, on the very next rack, I immediately found this other rust orange cardigan that was also all natural fibers, and it was only $4.79. So I got it. Hilariously, right before I decided to wrap up my shopping trip, I found another one of these gray sweaters. One in medium and one in large. And this wasn't a case of like a thrift store carrying Target dead stock. I've seen lots of cases of that personally in the past. This was literally two separate people receiving identical sweaters and both of them deciding to donate them in the same tag period. Even though one of them was $9, I got such a good deal on all the other things that I bought that I didn't really mind it. In the end, I spent $21 after using the 20% off coupon, so I actually did manage to stick to my budget. I got 4 sweaters in yarn colors and types that I can actually see myself using in this upcoming year. Then it was time for the most important part of this whole process. I washed the sweaters separately because we no longer live in an era where I can just trust that something that I bought at a thrift store has already been washed multiple times. The amount of times that I have purchased a garment from a thrift store only to realize that it was a brand new item that had never been washed before after I've taken it out of the washing machine and it has shrank weirdly and it has bled dye everywhere is honestly a little concerning at this point. So after the sweaters were washed and dried, it was time to unravel them. But first, let's take a quick commercial break. Now we're back. Let's get to disassembling these thrift store sweaters. The rusty orange cardigan was the first item that I unraveled. It actually came apart rather easily, despite being composed of the finest yarn of the group. It was bound together pretty simply, and the seams were easy to identify. Compared to the others, this was the easiest one to separate into its individual panels. I don't have a yarn winder, and I don't plan on buying one anytime soon. Instead, I just rolled the yarn into balls by hand. It was pretty easy to get into a flow state once I actually got to the unraveling part, and it was a good chance to catch up on my Watch Later playlist. Next, I started working on the gray sweater duo, and the first thing that I noticed was that, this is not what they looked like before they went into the washing machine. And I used a cold water wash and laid them flat to dry and everything. These were clearly both brand new, never washed, probably unwanted Christmas presents, if I had to guess, which makes the fact that there were 2 of them that much wilder to me. The panel seams on these sweaters were a little bit more complicated to undo, but I did get them eventually. I noticed when I was undoing them that the ends weren't actually woven in at all. Instead, the end of the seams were stitched with thread, like on a sewing machine. So my prediction that these were the sort of sweater that would unravel on their own rather easily was probably correct. Once the panels were separated, the unraveling was ridiculously easy. This sort of loose knit comes apart real fast, so these were the easiest and quickest of the garments to unravel. The red cardigan did give me the most trouble. This one had panels that were actually finished rather securely, which means that they were an absolute pain to take apart. I suppose it makes sense, since this was the only item I purchased that didn't originally come from Target, and didn't seem to be actively designed to fall apart. Once I finally wrangled the panels apart, however, the yarn unraveled just as easily as the rust-colored cardigan. This yarn isn't as thick as what I got from the gray sweaters, but also not as thin as the rust orange. It's like a happy medium between the two. And now for the moment we have all been waiting for. Let's see what yarn I actually got from these sweaters. Starting with the rust orange yarn, I know this doesn't look like much, but there is more than enough for a sweater and some accessories. Yarn that's been rolled into a ball like this can go a shockingly long way. There's a short sleeve top pattern that I've been looking at that I think will suit this yarn fairly well. Now here's the red yarn. I didn't get quite as much of this as I did from the orange cardigan, since the sleeves on the red one were more fitted and it was made of a single knit, whereas the orange turned out to have several panels done up in a double knit. This is still a perfectly adequate amount of yarn for a project or two. I think I might make an oversized vest out of this one. And now, here's what I got out of the 2 gray sweaters. There is so much here. I think this yarn would look nice as a top, but I can also see myself making several different projects out of it, so I've yet to really decide what I'll use it for. In the end, I got so much yarn just from a few secondhand garments that I got for less than $25, with the added bonus of keeping textiles out of landfill. In case you're wondering, this sweater shrug thing that I'm wearing was originally a black cardigan that I had in my wardrobe that didn't quite fit me right. I made this and a beanie that I'm obviously not currently wearing, but is the most used hat that I own. So I'm incredibly excited to get to work with these new yarns. I will also be making several sewing projects this year as well. I've decided that I'm not going to purchase any clothes in 2026. I can make as many clothes as I want and I can buy things to make clothes, but I can't buy any finished garments. That's my goal for the year. So we'll see if I accomplish that, but I've been feeling very inspired to actually get to work making things, so we'll hopefully have a lot of sewing vlogs in the upcoming year. But that's all for today's video. I hope everyone has a good rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Bye!